You ever get that gut punch feeling? Like you dropped 50 grand on a car and 6 months later it's worth half that. That's exactly what a lot of Tesla owners are dealing with right now. Used Tesla prices have absolutely collapsed. Dealers are refusing to take them, auctions are flooded, and private buyers, they're lowballing like it's a clearance sale. Last year, a 2021 Tesla Model 3 was going for over $45,000. Now, that same car is struggling to sell for $24,000. Sometimes even less if it's got miles or cosmetic issues. I spoke with 2 used car managers this week. They both said the same thing. We're staying away from used Teslas. They're dropping like a rock. One even told me we used to sell them like hotcakes. Now they sit for weeks. Nobody wants the risk. Think about that. A car people were fighting over 2 years ago, dealers can't even give them away today. So why is this happening? First, Tesla keeps slashing new car prices. A Model Y long range used to be $65,000. Now it starts at $44,999. That kills resale value. Why would anyone pay $39,000 for a 2-year-old model when the new one is cheaper? Second, incentives. Federal tax credits, state rebates, you name it. New EVs are more affordable than ever. That destroys demand for used ones. Third, oversupply. When Teslas were rare, they held value. Now, everyone's got one. This year alone, over 800,000 used EVs are expected to hit the market. That's a massive supply, and demand just isn't keeping up. But here's the kicker. Used Teslas aren't easy to flip. They're not like gas cars. You can't just take one to your mechanic and fix it up. Battery issues, locked software. You're stuck with Tesla's service, and that's not cheap. That's why smaller dealers and flippers are avoiding them. Too risky, too expensive, too much tech. I saw a 2020 Model S long range sell at auction for $31,000. Original MSRP, $85,000. That's a loss of over $50,000 in just 4 years. CarMax is offering $18,000 to $22,000 on cars people paid double that for in 2022. And now even CarMax is turning some Teslas away. That says a lot. People thought Teslas would hold their value forever. But this is a reality check. They're great cars, sure. But this shows how fast tech moves and how dangerous it is to buy the hottest thing on the market, especially when it's got a 70 kilowatt-hour battery and updates more often than your phone. In the next part, I'll break down why dealers are really scared of these cars. The depreciation, the repairs, the tech traps. You don't want to miss it. Used Teslas aren't just dropping in value, they're becoming a serious headache for dealers. And here's why. First off, depreciation. Every car loses value over time, but electric vehicles, especially Teslas, are losing value faster than almost anything else on the road. Gas cars like Toyotas or Hondas, they might lose 20 or 30% of value after 3 years. A Tesla Model 3, we're seeing drops of 40 to 60% in just 2. That's terrifying if you're a dealer trying to predict resale value. You can't make money on a car that might be worth 5 grand less next month. And it's not just about prices. It's about liquidity. Dealers are sitting on Teslas for weeks, even months. No one's biting. The second a new price cut from Tesla drops, buyers hold off. They're waiting for the next discount. You can't run a business like that. Now let's talk about repairs and service. Teslas are basically rolling computers. You don't just change oil and swap brake pads. You need specialized tools. You need certified techs. And sometimes, you need Tesla to even unlock the damn thing. Independent mechanics, they can't access full diagnostics. Even franchise dealers, if they're not tied to Tesla, are locked out of certain repairs. And when something goes wrong with the battery or software, you're in for thousands in repair bills. And that's if you can even get the parts. That's why a lot of dealers are saying, no thanks, not worth the risk. Then there's the issue of OTA updates, over-the-air software changes. Sounds cool, right? Except, what if a new update slows down charging, or limits range, or disables a feature? They're great cars, sure, but this shows how fast tech moves, and how dangerous it is to buy the hottest thing on the market. Especially when it's got a 70 kilowatt-hour battery and updates more often than your phone. In the next part, I'll break down why dealers are really scared of these cars. The depreciation, the repairs, the tech traps. You don't want to miss it. That's happened. And when it does, used car dealers are left holding the bag. They can't promise the buyer that the car will work the same next month. Imagine selling a used Tesla with full self-driving, only for Tesla to revoke access because the new owner didn't pay for it. Yeah, that's real. Now let's talk about auction data. Dealers rely heavily on wholesale auctions like Mannheim or Odessa to price their inventory. And guess what? Used Teslas at auction are tanking. Model 3s that used to sell for 35 grand are now going for 19. Model Ys under 25, and they're still not moving. Dealers are watching the floor drop every single week, and they're tapping out. Here's a real quote from a dealer I spoke with last week. "We're not buying any EVs right now, especially Teslas. The market's too unstable. They look cool, but they're a nightmare on the books. And let's be honest, Teslas were never built for the used car system. There's no parts network, no traditional dealer support. It's a closed-loop ecosystem. If you're not Tesla, you're on your own. That's fine for a private owner, but for a dealership trying to turn a profit, it's a losing game. So now you've got big national chains, CarMax, AutoNation, trimming their Tesla inventory, smaller dealers avoiding them completely, and private sellers who can't get decent offers anywhere. It's a perfect storm. And the result? Used Tesla prices keep dropping, confidence keeps falling. And more owners are realizing that investment wasn't as safe as they thought. In the next part, I'll go deeper into the real tech issues. Battery degradation, locked features, and the secret reason why many used Teslas are basically worthless to the average buyer. You do not want to miss that. Let's talk about the stuff that really scares buyers and dealers. Not just the prices, the technology traps baked into these cars. First up, battery degradation. Every Tesla runs on a massive lithium-ion battery. Over time, those batteries lose capacity. It's just chemistry. And when they do, you're losing range, sometimes fast. A Model S that once went 370 miles on a charge might now barely crack 290. A Model 3 that used to do 310 might be closer to 240 after a few years. And here's the kicker. Battery replacements cost a fortune. We're talking $10,000 to $20,000. That's often more than the car is worth. Buyers know this, and they're scared. And no, Tesla doesn't always give you the battery health info up front. Unless you've got third-party tools or direct access to Tesla's diagnostics, you're basically buying blind. That's one huge reason buyers hesitate. Next, software locks. This one's sneaky. A lot of Tesla features aren't tied to the car, they're tied to the owner's account. Autopilot, full self-driving, premium connectivity, even acceleration boosts. When the car changes hands, some of those features disappear, unless the new owner pays again, even if the previous owner already shelled out $10,000. Imagine buying a used Model Y that says full self-driving included on the listing, only to find out it's been removed because you're not the original buyer. That's real, it happens. It's not just frustrating, it's false value. Then there's limited repair access. Tesla controls parts, they control software, they even control who can work on the car. A lot of independent shops won't touch Teslas. And Tesla service centers, good luck getting an appointment that's not 3 weeks out. And don't expect it to be cheap. Now imagine you're a buyer thinking of picking up a used Tesla. You're facing uncertain battery health, possible locked features, repair delays, expensive service, and rapidly falling resale value. That's a hard sell. There's also the issue of warranty confusion. Teslas come with a basic 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty. Battery and drive unit coverage lasts 8 years, but only if you meet certain mileage limits. Buy a 5-year-old Model S with 90,000 miles? You might be completely out of coverage, and because repairs are so expensive, warranty status matters a lot. It's often the difference between fixing a problem or walking away from the car entirely. Now here's one most people don't talk about: salvage titles. If a Tesla gets into even a minor accident, insurance companies often total it. Why? Because Tesla doesn't like releasing parts for structural repair, and because labor costs are insane. So you've got these lightly damaged Teslas sitting in salvage yards, not because they're junk, but because they're unrepairable by anyone but Tesla. And Tesla? Sometimes they flat out refuse to reactivate the car's software, meaning it might never supercharge again, or never receive updates, or have disabled features forever. That turns a $25,000 car into a $9,000 paperweight. All of this adds up to one brutal truth. Used Teslas are high-risk buys. They look slick, they've got crazy tech, but unless you really know what you're doing, you might get burned. And that's why both buyers and dealers are walking away. They'd rather sell a 5-year-old Camry than gamble on a 2-year-old Tesla. In the final part, we'll talk about what this all means for the future of EVs and why this collapse could actually be a warning sign for the whole electric car industry. You do not want to miss how this story ends. So what does all this mean? Is Tesla done? Are electric vehicles just a hype bubble? Not exactly, but this used car crash is a warning, not just for Tesla, but for the entire auto industry. Let's break it down. Tesla's resale collapse shows what happens when tech companies treat cars like smartphones. Push updates, change features, slash prices overnight. That works when you're selling apps, but not when you're selling $50,000 machines people rely on every single day. When you change your pricing and software every 2 months, you destroy consumer confidence. People don't know when to buy, or what they're really getting, and the result? They hold off. They stop trusting the brand. They stop trusting the product. This isn't just bad for Tesla, it's bad for all EV makers. Because when people see Teslas crashing in value, they start asking questions. What's going to happen to my Ford Mach-E? What if Rivian goes under? What if these batteries don't last? Confidence drops across the board, and dealers, the backbone of the used car market, they're stepping away from EVs altogether. They can't afford the risk. They don't want to deal with locked software, unavailable parts, or unpredictable tech. They just want to sell cars that hold value and won't bite them 6 months later. Right now, Tesla's resale value is setting off alarm bells. It shows what happens when you flood the market, change the rules, and leave customers holding the bag. But here's the crazy part. This crash might also be an opportunity. If you're a buyer with cash and a plan, you could scoop up a $65,000 Model Y for under $30,000, or a Model S for less than a new Corolla. But you've got to know what you're doing. Check the battery health, verify software features, understand the warranty, or lack of one, and be ready for expensive repairs if things go sideways. This is not a beginner's game. It's not a buy-and-forget car. It's a gamble, and that's the biggest takeaway. Tesla changed the car game, no doubt, but it also changed how cars are valued, sold, and owned. And now the market is adjusting. Used Teslas aren't holding their value like people thought. Buyers are getting smarter, and dealers? They're pulling the plug. The hype is fading, reality is setting in, and the used EV market may never be the same. So next time someone tells you a Tesla is an investment, just remember, not every future is worth betting on.